Welcome to the podcast. Title Talk with Corey. Now streaming. Stand by.
In T-minus 60 seconds.
All right. Good morning. Today is Monday, February 5th. Welcome to Title Talk with Corey. This is episode 22. For real estate agents, anybody in the industry who wants to jump on today, stay tuned. I got a special guest, Liz Velasquez, PCT, Title Operations Manager here. And we got some good stuff to share for you guys today. All right. Oh, we got the little clap. Of course. Okay, so here we are. It's Monday. And we're on episode 22 of the podcast Title Talk with Corey. And I'm up here every week, 11 a.m., streaming on all platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon. And it's also now streaming live on all social media outlets. So if you're up on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, hopefully, jump on, say hi, and jump on with me weekly. This is for not just real estate agents, but anybody in the industry, anyone who's interested in just sitting down and visiting with me every week. My podcast will go live every Monday, 11 a.m. And I got different guests on. Next week I got superstar bass player Bernard Williams will be joining me. I'm not sure if he's going to be in the studio or if we're going to be, doing it remotely. But, for those of you who know, I'm a musician also. I play sax. So it should be fun next week. But today I got Liz Velasquez, PCT, Pacific Coast, Title Operations Manager.
Morning.
Good morning. Yes. We're going to be talking, we're going to be sharing some stuff today. A lot of stuff going on in the industry, and so stay tuned. So what have you seen lately? What's going on?
Well, there's been a lot going on lately. So, for those of you that are in this industry, escrow, real estate, title. There's a lot going on right now. The market's a little crazy. There's a lot of deals that are questionable, for lack of a better word. Questionable in the sense that, there's special circumstances. We've got properties that are in default, family squabbles, different types of scenarios that could potentially be difficult. With that said, I guess the moral of the story and the conversation that you and I have been having recently is that everybody needs to be very cautious.
Right.
So I don't want to use fear or the word fear, but everybody really needs to be cautious.
Yeah, I mean, it's during these times, and we've talked about this before, where things are more challenging. It's business has kind of slowed down, and I hate to use that word because I don't want to be negative. I know that
I don't either.
But the number of transactions have definitely cooled down. We don't have as many. Obviously, we don't have as many refis as we had because rates are still up there. Even though they're cooling, kind of coming down, we start to see all kinds of stuff come out of the woodwork.
Yeah, diversity.
Yeah.
And what I mentioned at the beginning is there's a lot of challenging transactions. So it takes a little bit of time. It takes a lot of research just to make sure that we are in a position to ensure everybody free and clear of any clouds or any issues. But the part two of what we're seeing right now in the industry is also a lot of fraud. Again, not to scare anybody, but you need to be aware. There's a lot of fraud right now. You need to be careful, aware. Make sure you meet the client in person. Don't deal with somebody that you have not met actually in person.
Right, right.
If there's anybody that needs to be signed, any kind of document that needs to be signed, if you're an escrow officer, make sure that you're the one coordinating the signature with an approved notary. Again, make sure you're not dealing with clients, buyers, sellers that you have not personally met. There's a lot of people impersonating other people. There are homes being sold. Sometimes after the file closes, we get a call from an individual claiming to be the owner of the property, stating that they did not sell the property.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of police investigations that have to go into effect at that point, and nobody wants to get dragged into court. So ultimately, my recommendation is to slow down, be careful, ask a lot of questions, and if you ever have a transaction that you're questionable about or you're iffy about, call me, call Corey, get me on the phone, and I'm happy to do my homework and give you some advice on how to proceed or not on any given circumstance.
Yeah. I think your mic's falling. Your mic's falling a little bit.
Oh.
See if you can just kind of turn it upward towards you.
Yeah. Okay, I think I just lost sound.
No, I turned it down because
Oh, okay.
it's supposed to be upward facing you.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, let me hear.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll lean in a little bit.
Yeah.
So anyway, I hope everybody heard that.
Yeah, no, definitely. This is something that, I think that we need to, inform clients and real estate agents, what to look out for when they're setting up a transaction. Just like Liz said, it can be tempting to kind of, overstep or skip certain steps in your process. Like when it comes to title, we have to really, there's a process to clearing title, and just like our process as an agent, you have to be very, very, very careful.
Yeah.
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 But like you said, make sure that you're talking to the right person, the person that has the right owner, the right principles to the transaction.
Right.
No, definitely. I remember years ago. I mean, obviously, I don't want to like. People should know that we are actually married.
Yeah, no, of course.
Because I know, I mean, most of the people that we work with out there know.
They know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you get 2 for 1 when you join us here at Pacific Coast Title Company. No, but anyways, it's what I was getting at is that, back in the day, I used to actually manage, right? I used to manage payoff, and so I used to get some really kind of sketchy people come in sometimes, when I was dealing with like private bennies. And I remember one specific situation where there was a private loan that we were making a payoff to.
I think you were at Chicago, right?
Yeah, I don't want to say who I was with.
Oops, sorry.
But anyways, so what I remember is this guy comes in, and his clothes are all tattered. He's barefoot. I mean, he's all dirty. His hair is all matted, and he's there to pick up a check for like $400,000.
I remember this.
So I come out to the lobby, and I'm like, oh wow, obviously you have to be.
You have to ID the guy.
Yeah, you got to ID the guy. Everything checks out, right? This guy checks out, and so it turns out, I don't know what this guy was like, Howard Hughes or something. he comes in and the first thing I do is like, I'm gonna stereotype him. This guy doesn't. This is not his money, right? I'm thinking that in my head.
Right.
So of course, we escalate it. We bring in, upper management. They come out and, we photographed his ID. The guy checks out. So you can't discriminate.
Right.
But you have to be cautious. So like in something like that, in a case like that, I mean, what do you?
Well,
how do you?
here's what we're seeing a lot of. More so than identity theft like that, what we are seeing a lot of is wire fraud. So escrow people, this is kind of geared towards you guys. If you get an email from a client in the middle of the transaction that says, I changed my bank and I decided I want my proceeds to go to XYZ bank instead, question that, because there's a lot of intercepted emails and escrows wire out per the instructions of the email that they receive. And a lot of times, by the time we discover that that wasn't the wire, the client might call 2 or 3 days later saying, we never got our wire.
Right.
The money's gone. So that's one of the things that we are seeing very, very often. Artificial intelligence, AI, Corey and I always talk about how good or bad that can be. And I think it's actually not good for our industry because they're able to, now the fraudsters are able to intercept emails, are able to tap into our systems. We just had recently, I won't say names, but one of the largest title insurance companies in the industry in the country got hacked. So nobody is safe, and so things are going to happen.
Well, I will say this, and just if you're thinking about doing that and closing with us, forget about it. Yeah, ain't gonna happen. I'm telling you, because you're gonna get it.
You're gonna hit a roadblock.
The FBI is gonna be on you. So don't even think about it. We got like major protocols. So
well, yeah, we've been forced to. I mean, we already were cautious, but given, like I said, what's happening of late in the industry and the increase in fraud and questionable activity, we've had to get extra things in place, a second pair of eyes, a third pair of eyes. We try to teach everybody analytical thinking and really taking a look at everything in a file and making sure, again, for the protection of the consumer, for the protection of the agent. I know the agent, sometimes they want the deal to close and they get frustrated with the title company, but I would rather delay, and this is something I teach my title units, I would rather delay the transaction 24 hours and do our homework and make sure that nobody gets dragged into court after the fact, because it's not, no commission is worth that.
Yeah, no, because they'll drag everybody in.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're the agent, I think a lot of people, there's just a big, and I don't want to say misconception, but there's, you always hear stories. There's a lot of stories. The title business is just it's a tight knit industry, so we hear what's going on. Yeah. With other companies and deals that nightmare deals or scenarios that have come across.
We compare notes with each other.
Right.
Like you said, it's a very small industry, so we've all been doing this for a lot of years. We know people at other title companies, so we all call each other.
Right.
Check with each other. We can tell if multiple orders are open with multiple title companies.
Yeah. So that was the other thing I was going to mention too. Like when there is something, like say we or somebody else in the industry closes a file with somebody who was a criminal and they did some
fraud.
Right. Who's a fraud. Right. That particular client, maybe it's even an escrow that they use regularly. Yeah. We put out, and I call it an APB, but I don't know what's the official term.
And some people out there, I'm sure, have heard the term, but the abbreviation that everybody uses is an OI. OI stands for Office Information. Yeah. So we do put, like you said, an APB. It's a notification that title companies share amongst each other, warning them, hey, this individual or this name or this property there was an issue with, don't close until you call us for information. So,
Yeah.
and we can do those at the drop of a hat. And so, again, title companies, we're all, friends. We're all working for the consumer and for the agent, and we want to make sure that things don't go sideways. So, we definitely communicate with each other. Um, via the OI, like you said, the office information,
Yeah.
or we can call. We call each other and say, hey, what do you know about this? So, yeah, we definitely put things in place to try to protect that from happening to somebody else.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so what are some of the things that, that we do on our side? Like what are we always looking for, when it comes
Yeah,
to
I
like,
mean, there's a lot of red flags. There's a lot of red flags, and to answer your question, there's circumstances that are different in every single transaction. So there's, there could be. I'll give you an example. Just as an example, we had a transaction recently, um, without giving specifics, where we had a husband and wife who owned the property for years and years and years. We had a sale transaction open with us, and turns turns out the husband who had passed away, um, we did not know had passed away,
huh.
and there was a junior, a son with the same exact name. So
Mm.
the son listed the property and sold the property, basically impersonating his deceased father. He didn't say that the father was deceased. We had no way of knowing that, and nobody really looked at the date of birth,
Mhm.
versus the person owned the property since 1969.
Yeah.
The individual that signed as the deceased father was born in like 1966.
Yeah.
So it didn't make sense, but nobody caught that. And, one of the common denominators with all of these different potential issues that come up is there's information withheld. So the reps, title reps, and also sales reps, agents, real estate agents, it's really important that you guys ask a lot of questions. You need to ask questions because oftentimes there's information that's critical to a potential fraudulent transaction that could have been caught
Yeah.
if we ask the right questions. So,
So
yeah.
like what should they really be cautious of? Like, obviously somebody just calls them out of the blue and says, "We list my property.
Yeah.
Property's free and clear. It's been
Yeah,
paid off."
a really good example of the first one that you mentioned
Yeah.
is use common sense. I mean, if it sounds too good to be true, somebody calls you and says, let's say your office is in, I don't know, you're here in Upland where we
Yeah.
live. You're in Upland and you get somebody call you out of the blue and they live in Beverly Hills and they have a $25 million house they want to list and they ask you to list it.
Yeah, they don't know you.
I mean, that's a little bit
Yeah.
sketchy. Immediately, it should be a red flag. Why are you calling me? How did you get my information? Why would you want to list it with me
Right.
versus somebody in your area? And if you own a $25 million house, you must have a regular agent that you normally work with.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So situations like that, and I understand, again, the market is what's driving people to take on transactions that maybe normally you wouldn't.
And makes
And they make bad decisions
right.
because we are all wanting business, obviously. Everybody's
Yeah.
slow, everybody's struggling, things are a little difficult, especially this first quarter.
It's just
of
a
the
little bit
year.
more
A
challenging.
little bit more challenging, and who doesn't want a $25 million listing, So
Yeah.
in some cases, somebody might, say, oh yeah, I'll take it, I'll do it, and you don't even meet the person, and you start doing the work involved. So it's, things like that. You have
Or
to,
especially I've heard cases where agent will take a listing, not even see the property.
right,
Yeah.
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's just a
Yeah, and for escrow people, for those of you that are out there in escrow, identify everybody in person. Get their identification. If there's anything shady about it, or you have a gut feeling that something's not right,
Yeah.
make that individual come into your office. For title companies, if you've got a payoff like you're suggesting with a beneficiary, and they give you a payoff demand with instructions again to wire to a certain account, then all of a sudden they give you a revised demand with the different wire instructions. Major red flag.
Oh, of course.
Why did you change your wire instructions all
yeah.
of a sudden? We had an instance where somebody had a beneficiary. Same thing. They had given us a payoff demand with instructions to give them a check. Midway through the transaction, an email comes in to the escrow company saying, "We want a wire instead. Can you wire it to this wire instructions instead?" They didn't question it. They issued a wire. That was an email that had come in intercepted from a fraudster that somehow got a hold of it, and by the time it got reported, obviously the money was gone. So there's a lot of red flags. Again, go with your gut instinct, but also do your homework.
Yeah, and I think I don't know what it is about maybe this year or I just think that it's just the season is high right now where there's just a lot of.
I think that, but I also think modern technology.
Oh yeah.
Has really, really helped the fraudsters
because
it's very simple to send an email, to intercept an email, to hack into people's systems. So I think that's really a big part of it.
Well, that is a big part of it because I mean, like you said, there's been a few of the big guns who've been hacked into.
Yeah.
Thank God we haven't been hacked yet.
Yeah,
But,
and we've got a lot of security measures in place to hopefully avoid that. But they're so sophisticated.
The technology now, they're able to just
technology is insane.
Tap into computers.
Even when I'm referring to, have the person, the individual come in and identify themselves and provide proof, their identification. Sometimes we have to demand 2 forms of ID because it's really, really easy for them to create a driver's license.
Yeah.
So, maybe we need to see a passport. I mean, in a lot of instances when you're dealing with a large sums of money, those are red flags. Going back to what you were saying a little while ago, if we're dealing with properties that are free and clear, that's another thing that I, again, try to kind of push my title units to be aware of. If we're dealing with a property where there's going to be a lot of proceeds, a lot of net proceeds, property's free and clear, and it's selling for $1 million, that's a million reasons that we have to be careful.
Right.
So I try to equate, to use that as an example for them. Every dollar is a reason. So the higher the liability, the higher, potential loss there is for everybody involved. And again, sometimes we have to slow down.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to put a hold on a transaction while we do a little bit more homework, maybe, if there's something that's not questionable. It's not the scenario that everybody would like. We all want to have slam dunk closings, but we also all don't want to get dragged into court.
Right.
So it's better to slow down and delay the process if we need to 24 hours while we make sure that everything checks out instead of, rushing to close something. So again, that's just the nature of the industry these days. And unfortunately, we all have to slow down. We all have to really look at the red flags and lean on the people with experience. If you're an agent that you're not 100% sure about something that the seller asked or the seller said, call the title company and ask us to double check everything for you and maybe give you some advice. There's just a lot. There's a lot going on right now in the industry.
Mm-hmm. Anything good going on? No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, actually, yes.
Well, I'm seeing. It seems like things are starting to kind of pick up a little bit.
It seems like the
rates
resale
are starting.
market is getting. It's not slowing down. I don't think the resale market is slowing down. I think things are taking a little longer to close. Sorry, but they're not really slowing down. I think we're definitely headed into a really busy 2024.
I think we are.
For sure. I mean, we see the inventory, we see the activity. We're really, really busy. I mean, I haven't been able to make dinner every day because I'm coming home exhausted, and I usually make dinner every day, but it's just a lot. So right now we're just really, really busy, and I think that's a good thing. But again, sometimes during the slow market, things get a little weird. We see a lot of shady and strange transactions. But then when things get really busy, the same can happen because we're so
it's
busy
even
that
harder,
we
yeah.
just kind of fly through everything.
Yeah.
And things can slip through the cracks that way. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. You know, you don't want to be too busy, you don't want to be too slow, but at the same time, I just want to remind everybody that, you know, there's a lot of fraud, a lot of strange stuff going on out there, and just slow down. You know, be patient, ask a lot of questions, reach out to the people that have the experience for resources, for questions.
Right.
You know, Corey can get me, like I said, on the phone at any given time if anybody has a question. But yeah, it's just I think the rest of the year should be pretty busy. I'm expecting it to be pretty busy.
Yeah, me too. I hope so. We need business. No. Well, hey, where are we on time? I don't remember what time we started. You start right at 11? That's all right.
Honestly,
okay.
I don't know. I think we're about 25 minutes right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 25 minutes in.
Yeah, I try to keep it around, 40 minutes and not go over, but I go over a lot. So, well,
But that's what I'm seeing in the industry. I mean, I know.
Yeah.
I know from what I see you do every day. I know that you've gotten super busy with. I know customers are definitely right now. Real estate agents, everybody's up and running and ready to
Yeah.
go for the year. You've been super busy with farming.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a good way to get the business, to help the agents get their business, and I know you've been super busy. So
Yeah, no, I've been doing a lot of farming. Yeah, and I'll remind everybody out there, if you guys are, if I don't work with you yet, give me a call. I can set up an appointment, and we can do by phone, Zoom, in person, however you guys want to do it. We sit down and strategize. My expertise is with farm data, so reach out to me 626-392-7993. You can email me open@CoreyTitleRep.com, or check out the website also, www.CoreyTitleRep.com. Well, so and moving forward into as we move along, we're definitely tightening things up in the office as far as protocol and safety measures to help protect us. And I know a lot of people, a lot of the other title companies are the same thing. They're seeing a lot of weird stuff. Technology is just getting so good right now, and so we've got to kind of just stay ahead. Criminals are out there, and they're
and we call each other. We all have friends in different companies, different industries. We call each other and compare notes. I actually did that last week because I've been seeing a lot of weird stuff happening lately. So I wanted to find out if everybody else was seeing the same thing that I was seeing, and the feedback was that they're seeing exactly the same thing. There's a lot of strange stuff out there right now, and so it just means slow down. It just means we need to slow down. We need to be careful. And again, the primary thing for everybody to understand is that we're on your side, and we're trying to protect the consumer, and
Right.
we're trying to protect them. And, lastly, we're trying to protect ourselves. Nobody wants to end up in court, trying to defend a potential scenario where we did something, rushed to try to close something that was still not 100%, solid. So,
yeah, and I'll just chime in a bit. I was going to say this a little bit earlier, but
yeah.
a lot of there's just some misconception out there that that's what the title insurance policy is for, right?
Right.
I think people will say that it's okay to be a little bit negligent or even commit fraud or because there's a title insurance policy. But guess what? The first call that we get whenever there's any kind of like monetary transaction, banking fraud or anything like that, the FBI will be giving us a call and we'll be turning over names. So,
No.
I'm just kidding. But the truth is that, it's title companies will defend if someone's unduly enriched.
Yeah.
You're going to get they're going to come after you, right?
Well, and the thing is that it's important for people to understand that just because there's a claim filed does not mean that it's going to get paid out.
Yeah.
If something happened, let's just say, I don't know, for argument's sake, I'm trying to think of.
Well, you don't have to give me any kind of specifics.
No, I
but-
know. I'm just trying to think of a scenario, but if anything were to happen, again, that there's a claim filed, and it's evident that whoever it is that's filing the claim knew that something was happening, and now all of a sudden they're just filing a claim because they think that they're going to double dip, for lack of a better word.
Right.
It isn't necessarily going to get paid out. So filing a claim doesn't guarantee you that it's going to get paid out. So you're right. A lot of people have the misconception that, oh, well, title companies, they have deep pockets, you know,
Yeah,
and
it's-
don't worry about it. You've got title insurance.
Yeah.
They'll take care of it.
Yeah.
And that isn't necessarily the case. I mean,
Right.
yes, obviously we have a job that we do, and we have, you know, a duty to the client to insure them for potential loss in the event that we didn't do our job right.
Right.
However, if something was done, you know, again, shady, negligent, like you said, deliberate, doesn't necessarily mean we're going to pay out a claim. So it's important for people to know that.
And
But
you will be sought after by the FBI.
no, that's actually fact.
Yeah.
But again, just a reminder that, you know, we're on your side. We're
Oh, of course.
we slow
Yeah.
things down sometimes, and again, it's not the best case scenario, not what we would like either, because we don't close a deal, we don't get paid either. So we want to make sure the deal closes. We're not going to deliberately hold up a transaction just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
If we hold up the transaction, there's a good reason for it typically.
It's to protect everybody.
And to protect everybody involved, including the agent, the escrow, the consumer, everybody involved, and then of course ourselves. But know that you know we're on your side, and sometimes things happen, and we have to slow down and make sure that the questions are answered and that everybody feels good about it before we close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Any before we wrap, any closing words of encouragement for agents out there?
Well, yeah. I mean, again, as I was saying earlier, I think 2024 is going to be a really good year for everyone. I think it's really important for the agents, especially new agents that are trying to learn how to get the business that they farm, that they call you for specific ideas on.
Call me.
Call Corey.
Or it could be another Pacific Coast title rep.
Yeah,
It's okay.
true. For ideas on how to go after specific business, you know, people that need to sell.
Right.
But outside of that, I just think I think everybody's going to have a great year. I think 2024, we're all going to have a great year.
Yep.
It's I think the numbers are predicting that we're definitely going to improve. We think the interest rates are going to go down. There's going to be a little bit of a lending market again,
Yep.
and resales have not slowed down. So again,
Yeah.
it's crazy as it is. Values have not gone down.
Well, it
and-
is crazy, and you know, it's a strange market, and you know, I'm wondering, you know, it's when the rates go down, then we get flooded with more refinances, and then it just
it's
crazy.
It's feast or famine.
so it's like be careful what you ask for,
Yeah.
and then it, you know,
it's feast or famine. But you know, we want everybody to be successful.
of course,
We want to be successful as well, but we want to help everybody out there, you know, to also be successful. And if there's anything that we can do to help you with that, by all means, we're available 7 days a week.
yes. Oh, you know what? Did you want to talk about last week? We touched on, we had our marketing director Jerry Hernandez last
Yeah.
week. And he was talking about we have something up there. I call it the client portal, but it's not. It's the official name for that. It's called the transaction desk.
Right.
And so we're going to have Jerry back on. You know, I think we said like quarterly. We'll have him back on. But this is a great portal that we have set up for really for escrows.
Yeah.
Even transaction coordinators, or
It's mainly for the use of escrow.
yeah.
And what it does is it facilitates basically the escrow officer being able to go directly into their own portal, like you said, their own portal that Pacific Coast Title will create for them in order for them to communicate with our company without having to wait for a response from the title unit. And in some instances, although our response time is great, in some instances it'll save you a lot of time to go through the portal versus going to the title unit for simple things like, for example, an updated title report. There's a way that you can upload your SI and it'll automatically go to our SI clearance team. Opening an order.
Opening an order.
Yeah, yeah. So there's numerous things that you can do through there. You can do your own CPL.
Yeah.
You can get your own fees. So a lot of things that sometimes slow your process down.
Right.
If you're ever in a hurry, it's easier to go through that portal, and it'll facilitate again throughout the whole transaction. You have your own login, your own password, and it'll be a direct connection right into PCT production.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to get set up with that, if you're an escrow, you work with us, don't forget to reach out to me, and we'll get you set up with that portal, that login, and that way you can go in and upload your documents, pull down whatever you need, and that's evolving. We're adding some really interesting features to that. So stay tuned for that.
And then just real quick, a shout out to two great title officers that we have at our office, and most of you are familiar with both of them. Eddie Las Marias, as you all know, great guy. He's been around for many years, and Rachel Barcena, who formerly was actually one of my assistants, and she's great, wonderful. She very well known in the industry as well. Both great people. They have great teams, and either one of them can help you guys with any of your transactions.
That's Rachel Barcena, Unit 88.
Correct.
And then we got Eddie Las Marias' unit. That's Unit 33. Both are fantastic.
Yeah.
So we have no problems, sharing the love here.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Customer service. Shout out to our crew in customer service.
Yep.
That's
Philip, and
Robert, Sabrina. Yep.
Yep, they're great. And again, if you guys ever need anything on the weekends, Corey and I are available on the weekends. I've got access to all the computer programs, all the operation programs. If you ever needed anything on a weekend, we're happy to help you guys.
That's right. So don't, this is 7 days a week. If you guys need anything that you need. I mean, obviously there's certain things like, getting, producing a prelim or something like that. But if you need a document or something that you need looked up, we have access, 7 days a week.
Right.
So feel free to reach out again, 626-392-7993. All right, Liz, we'll go ahead and let you go. I know you got to get to the office, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go.
Okay.
And don't forget to join me next week. So next week I'll be live here with again, as you guys know, my musical background. I got bassist Bernard Williams coming in, and it's going to be exciting. Super Bowl's next weekend, right?
Yes, the 11th.
Yeah, the 11th. Okay, so the 12th. So February 12th, I got Bernard Williams, bassist, that's going to be coming in, and we're gonna have a chat here. Maybe even play a little bit of music. I don't know. So I'll see you guys. You guys have a great week. You guys know how to reach me, and hopefully we'll have a bigger week than last week. I appreciate all you guys.
I'm feeling good now, no one to bring me